So I was going to make a video about the Detroit Red Wings, talking about some of the ideas that have been floating around their team and what players they could go out there and target. But we got interrupted, folks, because we have ourselves some really interesting news with these Pacific Division teams. Two roster moves that I wanted to dive into here in this video, starting out with the Vancouver Canucks. Take a look at this. GM Patrik Allvin announced today that defenseman Filip Hronek has been assigned to the Abbotsford Canucks for conditioning. And then you had yourselves Jeff Patterson going out there and saying that this is some promising development on Filip Hronek's recovery file. Now, it was reported earlier in the season that Hronek would probably be out until February or March or something like that. So with the idea in mind that he is actually healthy enough to maybe start skating again, maybe getting his legs under him and start moving around on the ice, it does bode well for Canucks fans who are hoping that Filip Hronek's injury would be not as serious as anticipated. You gotta remember, he underwent a lower body procedure whilst having an upper body injury at the end of November, so he's been out for a month already. It's been pretty bad, and ultimately for Hronek, because it's been so long since he has been in the lineup, I feel like now it's more so just a recovery process kind of thing, and I guess if he is just on track to superseding the timelines that were given to him, then ultimately that's a pretty good thing, right? There's no reason for the Vancouver Canucks to rush Filip Hronek when he's already been out for so long. It's like, okay, if he's actually ready to start moving and skating, then give him that opportunity to do that. Now, this is where we dive into some of the extra conspiracy regarding it all, because we have had some tweets of people going out there and, questioning what the true intentions are of the Hronek conditioning stint. I mean, there's a post here made by Taj that goes out there and says, it would be hilarious if the Canucks just sent Hronek down for a conditional loan to try and gain some leverage in trade talks for another defenseman. What exactly does he mean? Well, it is implying here that because Hronek is on a conditioning loan, because he is technically going to start moving and skating, etc., it means that the Vancouver Canucks are not going to be as desperate for a defenseman, right? Because up until, let's say, 2 days ago, other teams had the scoop on Vancouver. Hey, you need a defenseman. You don't have Hughes, you don't have Hronek, Tyler Myers is a top pairing guy on your team, you guys are not good on defense, so we have leverage. Vancouver, Patrik Allvin, if you want to make a trade for one of our defensemen, you're going to have to pay up a big price, buddy. But now, Patrik Allvin's got that bargaining chip. Oh no, we don't need a defenseman as much now because we got Hughes and Hronek back. They're here, they're moving, they're playing. So we don't need to pay your super high price. It's negotiation at the end of the day, if that is the case, of course. I mean, if Filip Hronek is indeed just healthy and ready to go and he's all right, then okay, that's one thing. But I do kind of vibe with the idea that the Vancouver Canucks are bolstering themselves up in a positive way, trade-wise, by moving Filip Hronek down to Abbotsford this early. And I say early because, they were talking about on the Amazon broadcast that Filip Hronek's timeline of recovery was maybe sometime in February or maybe even March. And so with that in mind, Vancouver had themselves a pretty tough predicament. But if he is ultimately better and able to come back sooner, then everybody's happy, right? Now, let's shift gears over from Vancouver and talk about one of the other teams that is down below. Speaking about down below, guess what? ExpressVPN's got your back. Their link is the first one down below in the description. If you need a VPN, use my affiliate link. It helps everybody out, and it gives me a little bit of a kickback too. However, let's go down below to Seattle, because just a little bit down south, down Highway 99, crossing the border and into I-5, you have yourselves a piece of news that I think is so intriguing. Daniel Sprong is on waivers, baby. Oh my gosh. Daniel Sprong? Really? Man, I guess he really just wasn't working out well in Seattle, wasn't he? let's just recap the Daniel Sprong story for all of those who needed the reminder. Not like this happened just a few months ago, but, you know, we need to go out there and talk about these things. Daniel Sprong was always noted as a talented offensive contributor, a guy with some skill, a guy with some pace when he needed to have it, and a guy who had some goal scoring. But he could never hold down a job in the National Hockey League because his two-way game, quite frankly, stinks. And even though he would produce, he would find himself on new teams quite often. He had 14 points in 47 games with the Washington Capitals in 21-22 before getting sent over to Seattle. 6 points, 16 games. He then had a 46-point year, his career high with Seattle in 22-23, 21 goals, 25 assists. He then yeeted off to Detroit, 43 points, 76 games there, before coming over to Vancouver this season on a very cheap, very short-term deal. It was seen as a steal for a guy that could potentially play with Elias Pettersson and Jake DeBrusk. And for a moment, it worked. For a preseason game, it looked great. And Daniel Sprong then scored the opening goal for the 24-25 Vancouver team against Calgary, putting himself back into the good books. He had 3 points in 9 Vancouver Canucks games before getting sent over to Seattle for nothing. He had 2 points in 10 games over there, and now he's down on waivers. Here's the thing with Daniel Sprong. Rick Tocchet and all of the folks in the Canucks organization, they're all talking about how Sprong is in a position to wanting to improve his two-way game. He wants to be able to stay in this lineup consistently and contribute everywhere that he needs to, and, you know, it's all good to hear that the player wants to be in that position. He's motivated to doing better than he's ever done. But then you watch the guy, and it's like, yeah, he's really not that. He is not a player that can excel defensively in any metric, really, because he doesn't really work too hard in his own zone. He doesn't back-check hard. He works hard when he has the puck. When he has a lane to the net, yeah, he's pretty good, he's pretty skilled, but sometimes you just need more than that in order to be an effective NHL contributor, and that's what Daniel Sprong was lacking in Vancouver. It seems like now in Seattle, the same thing's happening. It's honestly kind of weird because the Kraken have been in a pretty good spot lately. They've been winning games here and there, but Daniel Sprong was not able to replicate anywhere near the success he had had 2 seasons ago with his 40-point, 20-goal year with that Kraken team. So now, Daniel Sprong is on waivers, a contract that a lot of people said was a really good one, $975,000 for 1 year. If another NHL team sees value in the profile that Sprong possesses, the goal scoring, the hands, the speed when he picks it up and has the puck, who knows if this guy is going to get claimed, and I really, really do wonder which team is going to go out there and do it. Vancouver is in an interesting spot. If they wanted to get him back, they could. But, yeah, that's probably not the best idea, to be honest. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Firstly, about Filip Hronek and his injury update, how he is now going to Abbotsford. And also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Daniel Sprong and how he might be on his way to Coachella Valley, unless some other NHL team decides to claim him and take him on for free. It's no harm, no foul for Seattle, right? They got him for future considerations, and now they're setting him down on waivers for free once more, so if he ends up leaving their organization, then really nothing changes for the Seattle Kraken. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these two guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.